What's up, YouTube? Capital G here. Got some Harpy action for you guys to check out, and this is actually a really cool duel. He's facing off against my favorite deck in the game currently, that is the Altergeist. These are my girls, and I actually hope that Harpies are one of the decks that end up getting more support in the future. I don't know if you guys remember when Harpies were kind of big during Zexal. Jeff Jones took them to like an ARG, ended up doing really well. Harpies for maybe a couple of months were like a tier 1.5 deck, and they were really, really good. I just thought that was some of the coolest Yu-Gi-Oh that we had seen in a really long time, and I kind of miss Harpies being really good. But I'll tell you this, man, this card right here, Harpies Hunting Ground, this can actually destroy Altergeist as an archetype, because Altergeist is, you know, predominantly traps. There are no spells in the archetype, and even cards like Personal Spoofing and the Altergeist Protocol, like, they're completely susceptible to Hunting Ground. As long as you can keep summoning monsters, not activating effect, like the Altergeist players can't do anything. They can't strike you or anything like that. So this is not necessarily a good matchup for Altergeist. So let's see how it's going to play out. And most duels with Altergeist, I don't upload just because the Altergeist players, I deem them terrible, and I'm like, I'm not showing this shit off. Like, you're not gonna make my deck look bad. Only I can do that. But this guy, he played okay. So he's gonna activate Hunting Ground, then he's gonna go for Harpy Chandler. He's going to try to pop a face down. I think it's Personal Spoofing. He gets it, then he tries to activate Chandler's effect. That's gonna get the Ash Blossom out, so no effect there. He activates Historic Sign and then goes for Elegant Egotist, and this is where he gets a little wrecked. He does try to target the Torrential Tribute. Clearly that's going to be chained, and he's going to lose everything. So right now, generally the Altergeist player feels good, because this is generally what happens, right? Altergeist is such a snowbally deck where if you resolve Multi-Faker, most of the time you end up winning the duel. So he activates Personal Spoofing. He's going to get rid of his Sequidius, and if he's able to get Multi-Faker out, the game pretty much is over, because he's going to summon Multi-Faker. He should get Miluseek. Miluseek can then pop the Hunting Ground on his opponent's side of the field. You can turn it into a Link Karibo, and then in your main phase, the Miluseek can search out Mary, you can summon Mary, you can get your copy of Protocol, and then you're basically just set up and your opponent doesn't have many options. But unfortunately, he gets Ash Blossom. It feels so bad when Personal Spoofing gets Ash Blossom, because it is unfortunately a cost to tag back into your deck. So he doesn't really have anything. And the thing about Altergeist is, as strong as the deck is, and I love Altergeist, but it is not necessarily a great top decking deck. It's not like the worst in all of Yu-Gi-Oh, because you kind of just need to hit one of your combo starters like Miluseek or Marionetter, but generally speaking, it's not a strong top decking deck, especially against Harpies when he still has Hunting Ground on the field. So he's going to pop Personal Spoofing. And now the top decking is just getting worse and worse, because now you have to top deck against a 2100 beater, and you can see right here, he gets the Multi-Faker, but you can't summon it. So it's not going to do anything. I mean, he can just summon it, but it's just going to get beat the crap over, and that's not going to do anything. He needs to special summon it off of a trap effect. So I believe at this point, he's going to target his own Elegant Egotist, or excuse me, that's Historic Sign, and he's almost going to win the duel here. This was a good Ash Blossom, because if he was able to activate Historic Sign here, he probably would have gotten 3 different Harpy cards, and I don't see him coming back at that point, especially if he makes like Tornado Dragon in main phase 2, which is really good against Altergeist. If they have to top deck into it, they set a trap and you just pop it. But luckily he gets the pot of Neg 9. And he gets the perfect cards. He gets Miluseek, that gets rid of Hunting Ground. He's able to go for Link Karibo and then get Mary, and he got a Solemn Strike. So you can see how one card, and I'm not even talking about Desires, I'm really just talking about like him getting Miluseek, is able to kind of answer multiple problems. It got rid of the Hunting Ground. He's able to get a defensive card on board, and at the same time, he gets a search for Mary. He really just has to live through this turn, and if this guy just goes battle phase, he might actually just lose the duel. So we'll see what happens here. He goes for Lightning Chidori, and this is where the duel turns around. Unfortunately, it gets striked. He's then going to be able to summon Multi-Faker that gets the copy of Sequidius from his deck, and now the duel has completely flipped. This is how Altergeist operate. You resolve that Multi-Faker and it's off to the races. Now he's trading in his Sequidius to get another Multi-Faker. He's going to go for Hextia, which I feel like at some point he should have summoned Miluseek just to get the float, maybe get a Conquori, but I mean, whatever. I think that it's okay. His opponent is kind of not in a great situation here. He's just going to attack the Link Karibo just to get it off the field. He then chains Protocol to Link Karibo. I didn't really get that. I didn't really see the point of that. He also top deck a Historic Party, which he can't even activate because he has no cards in hand. So this is really bad, actually. Imperial Order Inconsequential here. He is going to summon Multi-Faker from the graveyard again. He's going to go for Sequidius, bounce the Historic Party. And this was so, I don't get this at all. He activates, he goes battle phase, and he activates magical hats. I'm not sure if this is in a battle phase or not, but I don't get why he did not negate the magical hats. You know your opponent has nothing that they can actually do here. You should have just negated magical hats. So now he has the magical hats on board, and that basically opens the door. He's going to activate Dark Coffin from the graveyard, and worst of all, he's actually going to negate the Dark Coffin. That's unfortunate because now Historic Sign is going to be able to activate. He gets 3 more cards, and guess what? Harpies are back in the duel. Altergeist has completely lost control of this duel, not to mention that his Hextia is not linked with anything anymore, so he can't negate any spells or traps. Now, he can activate a protocol, he can summon the Multi-Faker to the link point, and he can correct that, but generally speaking, if he had, I don't know, some other like trap card or whatever, he wouldn't be able to negate it. So that was definitely a huge misstep. He's going to go ahead and he's going to, oh man, he negates the Harpy Queen. I guess that's actually understandable. He knows what Hunting Ground can do. He can end up losing these cards, so I kind of get it, but he has used protocol for the turn, and he's going to get protocol back to his hand. He is going to summon a copy of Multi-Faker, and he's going to summon Marionetter, but let me see, did he have, oh, both of his, okay, most people only run 2 copies of Sequidius, so I'm like, why didn't he get Sequidius? And unfortunately, they're both in the graveyard, but this is where Harpies can come back, because he can now activate the effect of Harpy Chandler. He gets Harpy Harpist. Now he's going to go for Zerofane, and this card is going to do work. And here's the thing about Altergeist, right? So Protocol makes it so that none of your Altergeist monsters' effects can be negated. However, if Protocol itself is negated, then the monsters can be negated as well. And Zerofane actually gets powered up by the amount of cards that it ends up negating. So he's actually just going to take, well, he scoops knowing that if he takes a direct, not a direct attack, excuse me, if he takes an attack from Zerofane on the Hextia, the game's over. He only has 400 life points, and I feel like he definitely mismanaged that so much. Like, why didn't he just negate the magical hats? If he negates magical hats, the game is 100% over. Although maybe you could say that I guess that maybe the Harpy player didn't have to go for the high risk Exceed play of Lightning Chidori, but I'm not even really sure it was a high risk play. He was going Lightning Chidori in the 1 back row. It just was unfortunate that it was a solemn, because you see how Altergeist being able to summon Multi-Faker, it completely changes the duel around. It puts them in a commanding position, but if you can somehow grind them out, if you can get rid of a couple of their cards, you can actually luck sack Altergeist as a deck, especially when their opponent makes some questionable negations and some questionable plays. But just a nice little duel. Yes, I love Altergeist, but I am not afraid to show the deck getting wrecked, as long as I'm not the one playing it, Kappa. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed that short duel. If you did, give the video a thumbs up. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already, and turn on that notification bell for daily videos.